everybody, and welcome to this week's Cruise Chat. I'm Kathleen Penner, owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel, and today I'm joined by Karl, and Karl is from Silversea Expeditions. And as you can see, we're going to be going over Antarctica. Now, I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of meeting with Karl a few times before, so there is a playlist of all of our times that we've met, so make sure that you check out some of those because there's some really interesting topics as well. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. I always appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and to make these videos for your clients. I was saying to Kathleen, I recently had the opportunity to go back to Antarctica, but this time to experience our fly cruise program, or what we call the Antarctica Bridge. For a number of people, an Antarctica voyage is a pretty long time commitment because typically it takes 2 days to get over there sailing from the southern tip of South America and 2 days to get back. And we are able to fly over and do that 2-day crossing in 2 hours. So I had the chance to go in December. So I thought I'd just show some of the images from that experience and talk a little bit more firsthand about what that fly cruise experience is. So as Kathleen mentioned, I'm the Director of Expedition Sales for Silversea Cruises, Silversea Expeditions. And this is the Antarctica Bridge, or fly and cruise program. So if you look at the map in the top left-hand corner, this is what I meant about the crossing. So from the southern tip of South America, we would usually leave the Chilean city of Punta Arenas or the Argentinian city of Ushuaia. And then it's about a 2-day sailing to get down to Antarctica. But a lot of people are short on time. Or they are very, very prone to motion sickness or seasickness, and they don't want to risk a drake crossing that might be less than comfortable. The drake has a bad reputation. It's not always horrible, but nonetheless, there are some people who just don't want to take the chance and say no thanks to the drake. So this is how we do it. There is King George Island, the red dot there, and here's a close-up of King George. So the runway is there. We land at the runway, and then the ship is waiting for us in that little bay there. And I'll show you as we go through. Now, this is true Silversea experience because from the moment we arrive in Santiago, we are taken not to the main terminal in Santiago, we're taken to the private terminal where there is literally the red carpet waiting for us. We take a private charter from Santiago to Punta Arenas to get things started. But just to give you a sense, in this private terminal at Santiago Airport, it's all Silversea, canapes and drinks and cocktails all served to everybody. Very, very special.
Getting it started off on the right foot for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you've literally rolled out the red carpet, as I saw.
Quite literally. Yeah. The view of the Andes as you fly down from Santiago, along the length of Chile to get down to that southern city of Punta Arenas, we were just given the spectacular opportunity to see the Andes in full view. Absolutely beautiful. Then in Ushuaia, in Punta Arenas, we go through the process of getting all of our gear. Normally, the cold weather gear, the boots, the waterproof pants, the parka, that would all be waiting for you on the ship in Ushuaia or in Punta Arenas because you've got 2 days before you get to Antarctica. In this case, everybody is asked to put on their Antarctic gear before we board this aircraft because in 2 hours, we're going to be in Antarctica. So you need to have your cold weather gear on to begin with. So this is my Brazilian brother. I was an exchange student many, many, many years ago, living in his home or his parents' home. So we have remained friends for over 40 years, and he joined me on this. And this is the special aircraft that we get in at Punta Arenas. And you can see it's got a high wing, and it's got 4 jets, 2 on either side for what is relatively small aircraft. We only take about 70 guests on this aircraft. And you'll see why in a second. This is what it looks like. It's configured 2 and 3. And almost everybody gets a window. Fantastic view, wonderful meal, locally made Chilean, very typical Chilean meal.
And I love that you weren't like crammed right in. Like it looked like there was good leg room as well. So that's amazing. Yeah.
This aircraft was designed for 95 people, but we've configured it or worked with our airline partner in a way to configure it to about 70 guests. So plenty of room.
Yeah.
Very, very comfortable. And again, we went to all the regular airline partners that do the catering, and we just didn't like what we had. And we went to a local person, the mom of somebody who works at DAP Airlines, excuse me, the airline that we work with, and challenged her to come up with something. And she said, can it be typical Chilean? And we said, even better.
Yeah.
And she came up with this incredible, very, very typical Chilean meal. So the flight over, very, very uneventful. And then as we get closer, we arrive at King George Island, which is part of the South Shetland Island chain. We're very close to the peninsula of Antarctica, or the Antarctic Peninsula at this point. And it's, again, uneventful ride, very, very comfortable, a very modern jet. And there we arrive, and it's a Chilean Air Force base. It is a gravel airstrip, so the weather has to be very, very clear. The ceiling has to be relatively high, and it has to be quite clear for us to make it there. And then there is a short walk from the airstrip, from the aircraft, down this very, very well-defined road, down to the beach. You can see the ship there in the background, to the waiting Zodiacs. We board the Zodiacs. We leave all the luggage on at the ship. A truck brings the luggage down to the beach. All the guests are taken over straight to the ship, and then the luggage is brought over afterwards. So really, really straightforward. And if you've ever wondered, and if you've heard or watched any of Kathleen and my presentations before, we talk about getting in and out of the Zodiacs. This video is just a very quick clip of how people might get into a Zodiac. So we bring the Zodiac as far up on the beach as possible. You've probably heard me talk about the waterproof boots and the importance of the waterproof boots, and this is why. So we're asking the guests to step into, 15, 20 centimeters of water, and then swing their legs over onto the pontoon, seat your bum down on the pontoon, and then shimmy along towards the back of the Zodiac. So it's that simple. And then it all begins right away. You're right in the thick of things. Beautiful icebergs everywhere.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they're like sculptures, every one of them unique. The colors are different. A lot of people will look at photographs from Antarctica and think, oh, it's overcast a lot of the time, and that must really make for or not make for great photography. But it's actually exactly the opposite, because when it's very, very clear and the sun is very, very bright, everything kind of washes out and you get this flat white. When you have overcast skies, it brings out all of the blue.
Yeah, look at all the blue
icebergs.
hues.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, gorgeous. Wow.
The first time I went to Antarctica, I thought, oh, it's going to be a sea of white. And I was shocked at the thousands of shades of blue in everything. The water, the icebergs. It's just spectacular. I probably have too many photographs of icebergs in here, and I definitely have too many photographs of penguins. We saw 3 species of penguins. These are chinstrap penguins. We saw Adelies, and we saw gentoos. And you'll see in a while, we were there at a really good time of year in mid to late December to see their chicks, which was amazing. But I was trying to capture them in action, jumping and swimming and doing all kinds of things. You see the sense for the ice, and we were taking the Zodiacs and the kayaks through this kind of ice. These penguins coming to the edge of the fast ice, and I'll explain about the fast ice in a moment, and contemplating whether or not to jump in, and then sure enough.
And off they go. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing photograph. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular. So we woke up one morning and we were sailing very, very slowly and saw these big chunks of ice floating around, not like these big tabular icebergs or these chunks, these bigger icebergs that had come off of a glacier. This is something different. So fast ice is ice that was formed the previous winter, and their winter is the opposite of ours. So through June, July, August, and September, let's say, in a bay. That water was undisturbed and fairly placid. And then over the course of the winter, it froze, probably to a depth of 3 or 4 feet. And there was some of that fast ice still around. And so the captain slowly nudged the ship closer and closer and closer. It was a tremendous snowstorm as well. Closer and closer and closer to the fast ice, and ultimately parked the ship in the fast ice.
Oh my goodness. What an
Just there
experience.
you can see the nose wedged into the ice there. And then we took that opportunity to go ashore a little ways away from there with the ship as a background. And again, in Silversea style, I'll show you in a moment. This is everyone coming ashore. The landing party greeting us as we come ashore. Oops.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that greeting party. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then you see a bar set up here. And I think I've got there we go. We've got a bar because everyone wants to have a drink on Antarctic glacial ice.
Right.
And toasting the fact that, hey, we made it. We're here. We're on the continent. And some people question that, but the ice is fast to the land. And we were on the fast ice. So technically we're on the continent. We did other continental landings, so it didn't matter. Always time for a snowball fight, particularly with my Brazilian brother who had never had a snowball fight before.
Yeah, that's very true.
Time for the polar plunge. So
my husband does that every day on New Year's Day in Lake Ontario. I think he would love to do it here. That's something. Yeah, this is completely amazing.
It's amazing. So the temperature while we were in Antarctica ranged from -2 Celsius to about +2 Celsius. The water temperature was just around 0. So it's a very, very invigorating experience.
In and out.
Yep, in and out. But the rush you feel afterwards is incredible. And just life on board. There is the opportunity on this ship, on the Silver Explorer, actually on all 3 of our ships that ply the waters of Antarctica, to have a meal outside. Typically there are heaters and all sorts of blankets and what have you. So, and it's daylight 22 hours a day. So this is actually an evening meal. This is a dinner sitting outside. The crew always having lots of fun, trying to have fun. And the scenery, again, this is nighttime. This is 10 p.m. where we're getting this sort of photography because the light is absolutely gorgeous. Another chance to do a landing. You can see the penguins all over the place. And then, yeah.
Like that.
Aren't they incredible?
Oh, goodness. I would have such a hard time choosing which one would be my desktop photo.
That's
incredible. Yeah.
I like this one. It looks like a giant Godzilla going after the ship. So just phenomenal wildlife opportunities, opportunities for photography. There we go. And then another landing, and this is an old hut. We landed for a couple of reasons, because there's that wonderful colony of penguins there, but there's also this great Antarctic hut where some researchers stayed and would spend months and months and months there. But the trekking through the snow was part of the adventure. It was pretty deep. This was the earliest I had ever been to Antarctica. Typically, I'd been in January and February. I had never been in December before, and it was still snowing, and there was still a fair bit of snow. So this is the hut that we trekked to go and see what life is like for the researchers that spend some time in these huts. That's an old Argentinian, or yes, I think it was Argentinian or Uruguayan base as well. So lots of opportunities to get off of the ship and to go and explore either on foot. You'll see later kayaking, using the Zodiacs. Great landscape photography. As I said, an incredible opportunity for photographers. It's such a magical place because the vastness of it is always present. You look around and there isn't a hint of human inhabitation, no civilization, nothing anywhere, no power lines, no contrails from aircraft. We didn't hear a siren the whole time we were there. Nothing, no signs of human inhabitation, and just vastness. So yeah, it truly is. And to have that much wilderness, or an area that large that is still wilderness, and then some of the wildlife are so unafraid of us. We don't pose a threat to them. We're not a predator of theirs. They'll come and visit us. So this is a brown skua. We saw them actually taking some of the newborn chicks. But as one of the biologists said to us, hey, their chicks are cute too. I know it looks mean that they're predating these young, just hatched, like within hours,
Mhm.
young chicks, but their babies are very cute and fluffy too. Okay, everyone has to eat.
Yep.
Yeah, so the zodiac cruising is an important part of it as well, because this allows us the opportunity to get closer to some of the floating ice, the icebergs, the terminal face of the glaciers,
Mhm.
the walking opportunities. And sorry, this is just loading a little slowly. There should be.
It's coming.
There
There we
we
go.
go. More
Yeah.
penguins. And
Mhm.
they're porpoising along with us. We saw whales, we saw seals. These again are chin straps. And here we
Mhm.
go, the chicks.
Oh,
This was so beautiful. The biologists and the naturalists figured that these chicks were days old.
mm,
Just we'd
mhm.
missed it by a couple of days, but just, and we could see other penguins still sitting on eggs, and you could see that somebody from the inside of the egg was trying to get out. It was really,
What an
really something.
experience. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They figured
Fabulous.
that the heavy snows were delaying the formation of the colony, because
Mhm.
many penguin species need bare rock to nest on. They won't nest on snow,
Mhm.
um,
So they
snow
were
or
delayed
ice.
in laying, so it's
They were
delayed in
delayed in forming
hatching. And
colonies,
yeah.
delayed in laying. So we were lucky to catch them
Mhm.
as they were laying. So there
Mhm.
you can see them
Oh,
still sitting on eggs. So, and
beautiful.
you get this close. As I
Mhm.
said, the opportunities for photography are pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. I love going when I travel, my DSLR is always there. I know a lot of people just go with, the standard phones, but I just love having the right lenses and getting that awesome shot. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. When
like
are
to
you going
take
to go
pictures.
back?
Yep.
Particularly a spot like this. Yeah. And
Amazing.
if you're patient, you can get fun photographs.
Yeah.
Penguins flying
Yep. Almost look like
and
you're
whales.
jumping.
Yeah. Whales blowing.
Mhm.
And as I said, we had plenty of whale encounters. Typically, you see more whales towards the end of the Antarctic season,
Mhm.
February, beginning of March, many more whales, but there are always whales there year round. The full season, and when I refer to the season, I mean November to early March.
Mhm.
November is the earliest you could go. Early March is probably the latest we would go,
Mhm.
but again, plenty of chances. We saw whales all over the place.
Mhm.
The Zodiac, so this is the team following the ship in towards the beach. So we're heading back to where we ended now, and they've got the luggage in those Zodiacs. But one more opportunity to go kayaking, and this is an incredible experience, because you're
Mhm.
just a couple of centimeters off the water. You're basically sitting at the water level.
Mhm.
You're away from the ship, the hustle and bustle and the sound of the ship, and it's just the sound of your paddle in the
Yeah.
water and any whales that happen to come up nearby.
Mm.
There's a Zodiac nearby in case anyone gets cold or tired or isn't
Mhm.
feeling well, but it's far enough away that you're not hearing the outboard engine from that as well.
Right.
And then we saw the aircraft that was coming in to pick us up fly overhead.
And you're like, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is on the
Beautiful.
runway.
Mhm.
And this is what the runway looks like. There's a
Mhm.
gravel strip, which is why we need this specialized aircraft.
Right.
And a great way to get in and get out. So a typical Antarctica voyage, what sort of our bread and butter trip to the Antarctic Peninsula, is a 10-day trip.
Mhm.
2 days down, 2 days back, and 6 days at the peninsula. This is 2 hours over, 6 days at the peninsula, and 2 hours back.
That's what you
So
want. Yes.
yeah, again,
Mhm.
for those who are short on time, senior execs, you own your own business, you just can't be away for that long,
Mhm.
or you're nervous about crossing the Drake Passage. Antarctica's high on your list, but you just aren't keen on taking the risk of high seas crossing the Drake,
Mhm.
then this is ideal for you. So it's a
Ab-
wonderful experience. Happy to talk with you about it privately. If anyone reaches out to Kathleen that they're interested in Antarctica or this voyage in particular, and you've got many more questions, I'm happy to do a private presentation just for you and answer those questions. And
Wonderful.
hopefully you'll be one of our guests in these red parkas
Yeah.
making your way back home from Antarctica.
You can join the Red Parka Club,
You
right?
can join the Red
Kind of a
Parka Club.
rite of passage. Goodness.
Exactly.
Gorgeous. Wow. Well, thank you so much. That was just fabulous. I loved seeing the firsthand experience. You just can't beat that. Being there makes all the difference. I mean, you can read as many brochures or watch as many videos, but actually experiencing it, it's priceless. It's amazing.
Truly, truly.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for putting that together. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. And we'll see you all next week. Goodbye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching this week's Cruise Chat with Karl. It was so amazing to see all of the pictures that he took, to see all of the close-ups of the penguins. And I got to tell you, firsthand experience beats just listening to things, hands down. It's just amazing. And if you'd like to go on any of those voyages, feel free to reach out to me, info@plentyofsunshinetravel.com, and I will get you on board. I think it was really great how, you kind of miss those 2 days going there and going back. So you're spending longer in destination by taking that charter flight. So that's just fabulous that you can do that. I love Silversea, how they are so dedicated to customer service and making sure that you have the best time possible. And I think that it really shows. They literally rolled out the red carpet. So when you show up at that airport, it's just, wow, it's so nice. And it just makes that Silversea difference. Next week, for the next video that I'm going to be meeting with Karl from Cork, and they are also an expedition team. But in between that, you'll be seeing some videos going up because I'm going to be going on a personal trip, as we were talking about personal experience beats everything. So I'm going to be going on Seabourn, and I'm going to be doing the ABC Islands, which is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. We're also going to be going to St. Kitts, Dominica, and St. Lucia, and it's out of Barbados. So, I mean, wow. I hope that you've subscribed to our channel, that you can see all of these great videos, and that you would be able to follow along with us as we travel. So I look forward to showing you all the highlights and all the things that we're going to be experiencing. And I just can't wait. I'm very, very excited to fly out. We're leaving this Saturday, so it'll be coming up really, really quick. So make sure you look back at all of our videos so that you can see all of our firsthand experience as well. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye. Have a great week.